lot of times, a lot of news might be bad for you. Especially, have you checked the television network? News on television. They are all identical in Taiwan. Do you realize that? Most of the news channel, they report the same news, mostly on car accidents. But is that the only important thing happening in Taiwan or in the world, or are there more important things to care about, to concern about? So that for me would be the cons. Of course, the advantage, there are a lot of advantages. So boil down to some of your ideas. Get some of your own ideas online. So post it over here. Follow me here to the discussion session. And then click into it and then respond. Individually, everyone have to respond to it. If you have access to it, respond. Tell me what do you think are the pros and cons. If you think there's nothing, no disadvantage of reading news, then you can just tell me. Or you think reading too many news is bad for you, you can tell me. And if you want to elaborate, please do. Post it there. After you finish your posting, discuss in the group.都可以，中英文都可以。Yes, every one of you should post your own individual opinion online on the platform. Then you bring that your own opinion to the group and discuss with your group. Then you will have you should probably have 4 different answers, different opinions, supposedly. One more minute. This is a very easy question, I think, right?读新闻的好处跟坏处在哪里？那你的想法是什么？不见得，如果你觉得没坏处的话，你说可以针对一个写或者2篇论述也可以。不用，不见得，可以用中文回答，但是 preferable in English。 Okay, 20 more seconds, then we probably have to move on because of the time, because we only have 1 hour to do the weekly course. So thank you for posting. So each week we'll probably have to do this kind of posting, and hopefully starting from next week, we'll have more time to do group discussion and have a group debate. So if you haven't finished, please finish your posting. But now, these are still the most easy part to get your own opinion about your own individual experience and habit of reading news and how important it is to you. But now we have to move on to a more serious question. Not question, but the course content, because now we have to know newsworthiness. What is news? What constitutes a good news? Okay, so this is provided in our first MOOCs. So now, I can play here, but at the same time, you can download it from the platform. But I'm going to play it on the screen for this time. So you can follow that and have your handout ready, because everything is in there, okay, in the handouts. So you can accompany the video with your handouts, because those are the very serious and very difficult materials to digest. And we probably only have time to read it, to watch it in class just once, just to get you an idea of what MOOCs is like. Okay, so please pay attention on the screen.
Hi, welcome to News English class. I'm your instructor, Dr. Ye. This MOOCs aims at helping you previewing essential course materials prior to your attendance at the classroom. Please spend sufficient time getting yourself acquainted with the contents provided. In the first episode of our News English session, I will begin with a brief introduction of News English to provide the most basic and essential understanding in the way we approach news. This introduction is divided into two important parts. First, I'm going to talk about what newsworthiness means. That is, what makes a news article worthy to read. Second, I'm going to introduce different sections in a newspaper. First, with regards to newsworthiness, I suppose it is essential to ask ourselves, is this article worth reading? Why is it important to us? What level of significance does this news event carry? These questions boil down to the core issue by asking ourselves, what makes a story newsworthy? I have put together 5 categories to understand the concept of newsworthiness.
Can you follow so far? Do you know what newsworthiness means? 新闻价值. Okay, so newsworthiness, that means how valuable is the news, okay? So now you're going to understand a few key concepts, so let's just follow through.
First, we can consider timing. The word news literally means the story or issue being reported is new. Therefore, information of the very latest or the most current event counts in terms of timing. In other words, if events took place a long time ago, they are probably not that worthwhile to be reported considering its timing. Second, we will consider the significance of a news article. That means the number of people being influenced or affected by the event being reported, or the importance of the news to the international relations or to the magnitude of that event. If it is significant, then it may be a newsworthy story accordingly. Third, we have to also consider the proximity of an event that took place. For example, if there are 2 similar accidents took place in Tainan and in Taipei, we may pay more attention to follow up on what happened in Tainan simply because its location is closer to us. However, geographical distance is not the only measure we have to the category of proximity. We can also consider the matter in its cultural terms. For instance, we might consider our national news to be more newsworthy than international news. 4. We may consider the prominence of the news. That is to say, if the subject of the news coverage involves celebrities, politicians, or royalties, then perhaps they are more newsworthy simply because they are famous individuals. Finally, when a news article appeals to the sympathy or a sense of curiosity of the readers, that means the news caters to our human interest, which in turn will make the news more worthy to read. So here again, we have covered these 5 categories that constitute the worthiness of a story. They are timing, significance, proximity, prominence, and human interest.
I'll post here. Okay, so these are the kind of material your reader is supposed to spend your individual times to go over because they are difficult, right? It's more difficult. Okay, so now you have handouts too, because normally I will give it to you before you read, before you go over the video, so that it won't be so difficult. So to review what we covered, newsworthiness, 新闻价值, we have 5 categories that I've listed. Of course, it's 10 more than that. So the first one, timing, 时效性, 对不对? Timing, because news are supposed to be new. 新闻毕竟还是得是，才叫新闻. So timing, does it happen right now? So it will be more important than what happened 2 years ago. But it depends, it still depends. It's just a rough idea. Second one, significance. How many people are influenced by it? 921被 influence a lot of people. So it carries a lot of significance. If it only matters to one person, 比如说车祸, only the car accident only damaged one person, perhaps it's not so important than the fire incident of the coach of the bus that kills dozens of people. 同样是车祸，可能这个死伤1个人跟死伤12个人，可能是12个人会比较重要。Or 除非是 prominence， 除非那个死伤的1个人可能是很重要的人物，可能就比那12个人重要。所以 it's a rough concept. Third, proximity 是在讨论的是距离。如果这个新闻发生点距离我们比较近，可能还是比较重要。发生在学校会不会很重要？很重要。跟发生在台北哪个重要？应该是学校比较重要。So it's a matter of how we consider the importance. And finally, prominence. Does it happen to celebrities, important people, VIPs? Perhaps they have more newsworthiness. 新闻价值比较高，因为他们they are famous， 因为他们很有名嘛。最后 human interest， 比如说我们大家都关心的事情，当然 it will have more newsworthiness。基本上是这个样子，所以先再说明一下。好，下一个部分 ，the next section, please continue watching.
Now, I will move on to the second part to introduce different sections in the newspaper. Here, I have listed the top 3 important sections of a newspaper. First, it is called the hard news because this type of news is very serious. This is also what comes to mind when we say the news. And the purpose of the story acts to inform readers of events that have happened within the recent past, usually the day before. It is usually found on the front page of a newspaper or at the very top of a news website. Therefore, they are the most important news that any reader can hardly overlook. Second, we have features. And these stories are generally longer and they go deeper into the subject matter. They may seek to emotionally affect the readers by explaining the news further or offering perspectives and insights. In a sense, it is similar to hard news because they both serve to inform readers of a news event. But unlike hard news, Features contain more detail as suggested before. Third, it is important to introduce to you the editorial or op-ed section. Unlike hard news and features that serve only to inform readers of what happened as facts, articles in the op-ed section doesn't just inform readers about an event, but more crucially, they make their interpretations or provide a particular viewpoint of an event. Therefore, you may expect a particular angle that this particular section uniquely provides. For example, an opinion article doesn't just report a politician's speech, but it will evaluate the speech and direct it into a positive or a negative way. So, the editorial section contains a voice that acts to persuade readers into either way.
Okay, this top 3 is very important. That's what I have to post here. Hard news, serious news, that's also always the headlines, okay? The headlines that tells you what happened, so they're serious. They're supposed to report facts. These things are only report facts. 就是都只是根据事实在报道，是这个样子。所以这是 hard news， 就是他们给它取了一个名字叫 hard news， 就是 serious news。那相较于 features 呢，也是 report facts， 也是根据事实在报道，但是它做深入的报道。Okay, they go in depth. Okay, so features they have more insights into the news. Okay, so that's the difference between hard news and features. Features they contain more information, a lot more. But op-ed or editorial 就很像社论 it's very different. It not only report news, but it also provide a perspective. 它有它个人的声音在里面。好，所以你会看到报章杂志很多时候带的是左派右派的色彩，对不对？国民党、民进党的色彩，这个就会是社论在社论里面了。好，所以它是根据这个报道，但是它可以解读成某个党派的诉求，好，是这个样子，这就会变成社论。它 it acts to influence you， 好，一样，目的是要影响你。那影响你，它就会偏到，它只会看到一面，它没有扭曲事实，但是它可能只告诉你某一方面，不会告诉你全面。哦，是这个社论 editorial 是这样。那接下来继续听。哦，所以这个 editorial is also called op-ed, so you need to pay attention to that special term.
Certainly, there are a good variety of different sections in a newspaper, such as the sections on sports, finance or business, science, health, entertainment, technology, travel, international news, education, or weather. Obituaries are more commonly seen in Western newspapers that disclose who have passed away. Last but not least, there are classified ads. So here we see a wide range of different sections that may appear in a newspaper, but you can expect that the list may go beyond what we have included here. Now we have reached the end of this episode on the introduction of News English, and I hope you have fully understood the contents provided here. Please also remember to complete the online test for this session before the deadline. I look forward to seeing you in class for further.
Okay, it's cut short. So, now you've finished watching this. I know we still have time. So, I need to clarify the other thing is to provide you another information is other than the 3 important news sections, the rest is also called soft news. So serious news is called hard news. The rest of them are called soft news. Obviously, they are more lively. They are not always so hard found. So deep 不会总是那么的深沉哦。所以像其他的像 sports、像 entertainment， 其实就是我们都会叫 soft news。相对于相较之下，好 ，keep this. Well, you can review this while you do the test now. So the rest of the time, I'm going to give you to complete the test. The test contains only 10 questions. So please finish it now, and hopefully you get the passing remarks of 60%. 你只要答对6题应该就 OK 了哈。然后这个基本上 everything is from here and from the MOOCs. Okay? So Now, please go to, where is it? Online test, 线上测验，倒数 second column。哎，是不是还没有播啊？
是刚刚打的要送出吗？
要啊，送出那个是 discussion， 对不对？讨论的地方，请你们如果还没回的话，也可以趁这个时间回。然后我发觉我好像线上测验的时候，好像忘了开了，对不对？对，我现在就可以开了。不要，为什么不要？我怎么开？好，你们现在应该有题目了吧？Okay, complete the test. If you finish it sooner, you can have a rest and call your day earlier.